The Beach Report.
And good afternoon to our Chief Lifeguard, Warren Young. How are you, Warren?
Good afternoon, Kathy. I'm well, thanks.
How's the beach looking?
Well, it's been a nice morning. Gee, it's been a windy afternoon. The wind's coming in really strong. It's really choppy northeast winds, Kathy, and some strong swell today. There's about 1.5 to 2 metres of swell on the coast at the present time. And look, not much happening to the surface with the wind and coming in from the northeast. It's really quite choppy. But look, it's reasonable for a swim between the flags. The tide's starting to go out, so things do deteriorate as the tide goes out in the afternoon. It's a bit unstable inshore as well. So join us between the flags. So important. The low tide of 6:30 this evening. The water temp's nice, 21 degrees plus. It's nice in, but very windy when you get out. But if you're coming down, please swim only between those flags.
As always. Thank you, Warren.
Thanks, Kathy. Bye-bye.
Our Chief Lifeguard, Warren Young there. Well, imagine inventing something that would literally change people's lives. What a difference it would make and what a feeling it would be to invent it. Even more satisfying if it means parents in wheelchairs would find it easier to care for their babies. Adrian Burke and company PWA Mobility have designed a device called the Care Station. It's a baby capsule that rotates so parents find it easier to change their baby's nappies, feeding them and generally taking care of them. The NDIS and Spinal Life Australia have already thrown their support behind the invention. But now the battle begins to find a local manufacturer. I caught up earlier with Adrian Burke, who explains how this little baby capsule for wheelchair parents works.
The capsule looks similar in appearance to the capsules you see in shopping trolleys at the shopping centres, but very much more high-tech. It adjusts up and down electrically. It rotates and tilts in any direction and to any requirement for a parent in a wheelchair to interact with their child for such things as feeding, changing nappies and simply connecting and bonding with their child. It has a 5-point harness system, and when it's not in use, it folds behind the wheelchair to leave the parent free to move in the chair. So that's basically, in a simple term, what it is. But like I said, it's much more high-tech.
We're at an early stage with it. You're after some help to get it up and running?
Yes. We've been working on this now for three hard years on developing, designing, prototyping and testing it, and we're now at the stage where we're ready to go to manufacture.
And you want to keep it in Australia?
Oh, absolutely. We've looked at the offshore options, but we want to keep the product as a local innovation, manufactured in Queensland, if not in Australia. But to do this, we need extra resources, and so we've commenced a crowdfunding campaign through Kickstarter. And we'd like to see, the people of Queensland fully support this concept, just to show the world that such an innovation has been created in Queensland, to help ease the difficulties for disabled parents in wheelchairs.
I imagine this has been a problem for so many people for so long. How did you get the idea to do this?
Well, the concept came about several years ago after we recognised the difficulties disabled parents were experiencing in bonding and interacting with their child while in their wheelchair. As I said, we spent many long hours over the last 3 years in designing, developing, testing, prototyping and patenting the product. And we have now provided a solution that we call the Care Station. We recognised this several years ago, and I'm from the disabled industry, and I, for the life of me, can't come to accept the fact that it's something hasn't come to the market before this, to ease and give some comfort to disabled parents.
It would make such a difference, and you've had feedback from Katie Hammond. She's a mum, a paraplegic of an injury 20 years ago. What has she told you about the invention?
Oh, she just said that this is a much needed concept. She can see the positive, positiveness with the product and the difference it'll make to disabled parents. A huge difference.
I like the fact too that she says it means she can be more of an active part of her child's life while they are still safe.
Absolutely, Kathy, yeah, because it's the importance of being able to bond and interact with the child that this enables them to do. Before it was difficult with bonding and interacting with a child without the aid of a carer. And so, yeah, this will make a huge difference.
You've also had some official endorsements from some pretty impressive groups.
Yes, Spinal Life Australia. They're based in Brisbane, and they've been a wonderful support during the product development. Spinal Life have been supporting people with a disability for 60 years, and to have them support us is just tremendous. They've done so much good work out there with the disabled industry, and it's just fabulous to get their endorsement.
It sounds like it's still difficult to get off the ground. You're meeting with some possible manufacturers today. How involved is it, Adrian?
It's very, very, very involved. The biggest factor with it, Kathy, is to set the manufacturing up. There's a lot of tooling involved, and with the different type of products that we've been looking at to put into the concept. But yeah, the biggest hurdle is the manufacturing in volume. We want to get out there quantity to get out into the market to initially, as I say, get it out there and then look at the volume content. We want to initially look at servicing the Australian market with it first. We've had international response. Again, it's been overwhelming with the international response, but we want to take baby steps with it. And to get a manufacturer to come on board that wants to take these baby steps with us is difficult.
What about a price? I know that's hard at these negotiating stages, but what are you hopeful it may market for?
Well, it'll be around the $2,600 mark, but we've also been to NDIS. They've recognised it as a support in an application for a disabled support for funding. So in conjunction with an application by a disabled parent to NDIS by their occupational therapist, they can include this in their application for funding, source funding.
Adrian, I'm getting the feeling that if you were to go internationally rather than your preference to do it in Australia, you could get this up and running a lot quicker.
Yes, we could, but not at the moment, not during the pandemic. We looked at this early in the year to go offshore with the manufacturing, and sure, labour costs are cheaper, but at the same time, we want to ensure that we get a high-class product out of this, and we want to oversee the full quality control of the product. So we would prefer to keep it here. Even though there might be a difference in the cost factors, we just see that this is a key thing to keep this local.
I hope you can. Good luck with your negotiations. We'll keep tabs on how it all goes.
Thanks very much, Kathy. And look, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to discuss the concept. But we're proud of it being a Queensland innovation and just appreciate any local support.
Our pleasure. That's Adrian Burke from the company PWA Mobility. Sounds so promising, doesn't it? The care station, especially for wheelchair parents with baby capsules, making their lives a lot easier. Let's hope it gets off the ground.
Yours to stream on ABC iView.